Hi, I'm Denise, and I'm the organiser of the Irish Women in Business Network event here in the City West. We are running an event for the International Women's Day today. It's March 8th. We've had Lottie, the amazing Lottie, who calls herself a self-proclaimed drama queen, who's been here giving us lots of tips on how to be confident in camera. I hope I'm using her tips, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
Tell me, how's the Travel Pro Skill Net course been for you as wannabe travel agent?
Yeah, I thought it's been really good. It's really given a great insight into what it would be like to be a travel agent, and it really made me more eager for it all. Like, especially being here today, meeting all these people. It's surprising that everybody downstairs is really nice, very cooperative as well, and of course yourself, Lottie, giving us all this tips on confidence on camera. It's really, bring out the best on us.
Impromptu live with Lottie, and today I thought I'd get my pearls on and my pearl earrings and look a little bit posh today, a little bit prom and proper, because I'm speaking to the live legals expert, the 500-word contract lawyer, who's going to share her knowledge and skills and her journey about going from stage to screen as a live stream queen. That is the amazing Miss Sarah Fox. Hey, Sarah.
Hi.
How was that intro for you today? Did that one work today?
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. I think I might have to record that and use that for everyone. That's going to be my new intro.
Oh, yeah. Just pass that one on to the world as your speaker intro.
Yeah, I just like a license to use that.
Yeah, well, thank you. I was going to say, where's the supportive bra, as you introduced to us, the broadcast release agreement that we use on Ladies Go Live. Got to have a supportive bra. So, Sarah, what I wanted to chat with you today is, obviously, as a fellow past president of a professional speaking association UK region, and when I was president here in Ireland, I want to chat with you to pass on any top tips to our speakers of Singapore, because you're fairly near the early days of your live stream journey, but I know you're already seeing the power of it and the impact of it. So why don't we start off with, tell us a little bit about how you got where you are with your speaking, and then we can find out how you're now shifting it onto live stream.
Okay, so I did my first speech about 20 years ago to an audience of sort of 500 engineers who'd been at a full-day conference. I was the last person before the end, and they were they'd sat through an awful lot of very technical conferences and speakers, and I was talking about law. Thankfully, I'd made it funny and witty, and I started by acknowledging that we were running behind schedule, and I was 15 minutes between them and the bar, and I wasn't going to be the person to hold them up. And I got such a buzz from that room that I thought, I really quite like this idea of speaking. And then it went on the back burner because I was too busy being a lawyer and then a mum and a support lawyer and all sorts of stuff. But I did a lot of training, and I liked being in the front of an audience and answering questions and being able to give them confidence in something that they use every day. So these contracts that they use every day. So speaking became part of my business from that point of view, and then trying to find a topic that would make sense to a wider audience. Because what I do, construction contract law, is so niche that there aren't huge audiences of people out there waiting to hear what I've got to say. So looking at contracts, clarity, turning things into 500 words. That's where it all started from. But most people don't believe you can do it in 500 words. So being a speaker is really useful as a way of giving me credibility, because, a lot of people don't actually think you can do it. So for me, it's about showing that there is another way to do law that's maybe not the kind of slick corporate law that people associate with lawyers and contracts. So to give it a bit more colour, vivaciousness, clarity, just to make it, lovable. Because I talk about lovable contracts, so lovable speakers, that sort of thing. And live stream's perfect for that sort of thing.
And I love it. I love it, Sarah. With a big echo you've got on the background. You've got a speaker on your end. Can you mute a microphone, Sarah?
Yeah.
Or turn a mic. There we go. That's better. This is what happens on live stream, folks, is that sometimes you get the feedback from somebody else on the other end. But this is all part and parcel of it. It's how you cope with it as you go along. Now, I've had the joy and the privilege to actually see Sarah speak both on stage, and I've been here as well, just doing this to Sarah, because I've seen her create her speaking products, and I've watched her use videos, and we've had chats about the confidence on camera side of things. But I also love the idea that you came up with sharing your speaking expertise in 500 words, approximately. How many minutes did 500 words turn into being on camera, Sarah?
It was about 3.5 minutes, which is kind of a perfect, grab a cuppa, come and listen to something. It's not so long that it's going to put you off. You don't have to bank it for later, shove it in a folder, which you'll never go back to. It's kind of immediate. Watch it. It's not so long that it's going to put anyone off.
But you started off with those, recording those as videos, and then building your products in the background. So a lot of people weren't even necessarily knowing that you were, your audience is growing in the background because you're doing those for very specific people and very specific clients as a speaker on screen. So why do you think now is the time for professional speakers like yourself to shift into this mode? Even though speaking on screen might not be your expertise, like it is with me, what have you, share with us why now? And then secondly, what have you learned that you've needed to do to be able to present like this on screen, Sarah?
So for me, it was a result. I was doing a presentation skills course with a law firm, and we were talking about all the different tools and tips and the things that they could do to make themselves present in person better. And I said, you know what, the competition's not that good. You know, you only have to show yourself to have a little bit of character and a bit of knowledge, and you will stand head and shoulders above the crowd. Now, they're a law firm. They've got loads of marketing teams. They've got expertise. They've got people who will feed out all their social media and stuff. There's just me. So I needed a way to be able to kind of cross that sort of expertise, colour, character, and all that kind of stuff really easily and simply. And the live stream was a perfect tool for that, because there's a lot of stuffy corporate legal videos out there and legal blogs, which I think put a lot of people off the law. They don't draw them in, they put them off. So live streaming was perfect for me because there's just me in the business, and it was a way that I could be immediate and get out there and, you know, show that contracts are important. And the second question, you said, what do I need to do? Well, first of all, you gave me some fabulous coaching, so thank you for that, Lottie. You gave me a confidence that I was watchable, confidence that it didn't really matter if there was the odd problem, confidence that if there was a little bit of feedback, it wouldn't matter, you know, getting the confidence just to go live. And then I did the Ladies Go Live 30-day challenge. I'm 2/3 of the way through, so every single day I've live streamed about something on a variety of different platforms, because I was trying to test which ones would work. And the last one I chose was LinkedIn, because it was the last one. I know you can't really go live, but you can put video up there. It was the last one I thought, if I get this wrong, my professional reputation's at stake more than on Twitter and on Facebook and on my Facebook page. So, but I loved it. And I got feedback, and I was getting queries and questions from people who'd been following me or connected with me for ages, but hadn't really understood quite what I did. So it's been a very, you know, positive tool. I haven't really bought any more kit yet. I know I've got a list of things that I might get in the future. I haven't got any special platforms. I'm just testing to see whether it works. And so far, the answer is a very positive yes, it does.
I love the fact that you brought up the LinkedIn side of things, Sarah, and that you left that till a bit later, once you'd got the confidence to be doing this and chatting here. And I know that I actually heard the feedback from you that you had from LinkedIn, and I'm like, yay, because you totally deserve it. Because I think the style that how you did start, if you don't mind me sharing, Sarah, that there was a little bit of nerves, and the whole setup was a little bit different, and the lighting was a little bit different, but it hasn't taken much for you to have a much more professional look for your videos and your live streams, has it?
No, and I think sometimes it's just about doing it. I remember when I first set up my blog, I decided I would blog every single day for a year. I got up to about sort of mid-March and gave up, but I realised that by just knowing that I had to blog that day, I was looking for stuff. I was looking for things to comment on, to news, to, you know, things that were happening in my life. Same with live streaming. It was just being aware, making it sure. And then, you know, getting feedback from people. I went live on Twitter and I was upside down. I couldn't change it because I'd set up my tablet in a specific way. I had no, but anyway, I made them laugh. You know, I chatted about it. I acknowledged that I was upside down. And you know what? It doesn't really matter, because kind of it's all fairly disposable. So it's about catching someone on the right day at the right time. And if they're drawn in by what you do, that's great. If they're not, well, you've got another chance another day.
Yeah, and I think, but when you say that it is all disposable. That's what people worry about is, oh my gosh, it's up on social media. You can get rid of it if you want to, but funnily enough, as you get further and further and further down the track, especially for me, is the niche in my area, the confidence on camera coaching and live stream coaching, is that actually by leaving the mistakes there, you can show those as demonstrations for other people you're working with.
Yeah.
Look, this is what I did at the beginning. I leave it there as a reminder to where I am now, and that it can be that fast, it can be that easy to simply get up and go live.
Yeah.
But as Krishna Day said, she said, some people, though, you can go live, but should you? You need to have a reason. So, Sarah, what I'd love for you now is to give us a couple of tips from your very niche expertise as the 500-word contract lawyer. And you'll find Sarah, by the way, let me just get rid of our names here. You'll find her at 500-word lawyer on Twitter. You'll also be able to find Sarah on Facebook at 500 words. And of course, you'll be able to find Sarah with all of the links to everywhere you can see her at 500words.co.uk. And if you've got any comments or questions for Sarah about live legals, pop them down below. I know, Sarah, as we were chatting with Chocolate Johnny the other day, this I didn't publicize because it's an impromptu link in for the Asian speakers, the professional speakers of Singapore and your convention here. So we might not have anybody watching, but it doesn't matter to us, Sarah, does it?
We don't care.
Still have a chat.
We don't care.
So Sarah, the thing I wanted you to share with your website list up there, thinking of some top tips for speakers who are in a, like you and like I am as well, in a very niche area. What do you think is the power within a niche, and what are your live legals, your 500-word contract lawyer expertise, legal number one tip for speakers going live?
Oh, I suppose the number one tip for all speakers going live is to make sure that you are following the terms of service of the platform you're using, and that you're not just using one platform. Like Chocolate Johnny said, he said, you don't own that. You don't have the ability to save anything that you've saved to a specific platform unless you download it and put it on another platform. So make sure that you have retain ownership of all the live streams you do. This is your intellectual property. It's the only thing you've got as a speaker, trainer, coach. You have to make sure that you protect it. So if you're going live with another person, you've got to decide who gets a license to use that interview. So that's what a broadcast release agreement does. It explains who can use it, who's got the rights in it, who owns the IP, because intellectual property is what we have as speakers. So it's really important that you know who owns it, know who can use it, know who can exploit it for commercial ends, and follow the terms of service of whatever platform you're using. So that's my number one top tip legal.
Love it, love it, love it. And there's me. As always, with these conversations I'm having with people, I'm down here jotting down notes, jotting down all the notes, because you're always learning, folks. And that tip you just said about that, know who owns it, and also thinking about the agreement that you come to, the supportive bra, as we talk about at Ladies Go Live. You were saying to me that it doesn't have to be. I've seen broadcast releases from people asking me to speak that are pages and pages and pages long. And I'm going, I'm only appearing on your show for 10, 15 minutes or for a half-hour show. Do we really need this? But you gave me a Facebook Messenger tip that was an absolute gem. So if you're happy to share that one, Sarah, it would be brilliant.
I don't actually remember what my Facebook Messenger tip was.
It was I think, Sarah, it was the fact that you don't, and I want to get you to repeat this in your words, but you said to me, Lottie, you don't have to do a full page release. You can do a much shorter, but it's the fact that it's written down somewhere. Yeah.
Okay. So any contract can exist, whether it's written and recorded on paper, in an email, on a tablet, on a text, on a messenger. It doesn't really matter the format that you put it into. You need some sort of durable record of what you've agreed. It doesn't need to be long. You could video what you expect your interviewees to do and get them to reply. Just say, yes, they're happy with all those rules. That's fine. You can use all sorts of different digital ways of creating contracts. But the only thing you should do is just make it simple enough that they'll read it, because if they don't read it, you're really not helping yourself, and you're not acting in a way which is fair and collaborative with your interviewee. And they're sharing their expertise, they're giving their time to you. You should do something for them in return by collaborating with them rather than just exploiting them.
Totally agree. So on that note, Sarah, the kind of example of that would be, now, Sarah, you've agreed to come on Live with Lottie with me today. So if we can get a recorded version here of our supportive bra, our broadcast release agreement, that, Sarah, you are happy for both you and I to be able to share this out publicly across social media, yes?
Yes.
You haven't said yes yet, so I get a yes from Sarah there. And that we can both, if you would like a copy, you're more than welcome. I will be downloading this. We both agree that we can positively, with positive language, share the show and re-edit for future use for our paid members, public members, and for our public shows as well. Are you happy with that, Sarah?
I'm happy with that.
Fantastic. And of course, the last thing that we both agree to do is that we agree to give full credit. So I will always, with everything, that's why, folks, a lot of the time I use these lower thirds here so that people can see that Sarah is my guest here live with Lottie. And I always like to use things like show she's at 500 Word Lawyer on Twitter, and that this is Sarah Fox speaking with me here. And that you can contact her at 500words.co.uk. So that's the kind of thing that would work for an agreement for future, wouldn't it, Sarah?
Of course it would, because you don't need it to be in that sort of old-fashioned form. You don't need to make it put someone off. You should use a contract that draws them in and gets them to say yes. And that's a perfect example of just using whatever medium you've got that you're already using to create an agreement. And to make it doesn't need to be written by a lawyer. No, Lottie didn't use those jargon and stuff.
Of the visual impact of our I can't even think of the words because they're far too complicated.
No, you're right. And I went to a live stream with Mitch Jackson, who's a really good, he's called the live streaming lawyer in the US, and he was talking with Joey Vitale about live streaming agreements. But every time he started thinking about wording, he would go into legal mode, and it was coming out in sort of these sort of slightly strangulated legal terms that lawyers are so inherently use, and they're just find it difficult to get rid of. But actually, Lottie, you know what you're doing, you know what you want to say, I know what you mean. It doesn't really matter what sort of terminology you use. It's much better that we both understand it than we kind of try and screw it into that sort of commercial speak legalese thing that everyone falls into every time they think contract.
And the last thing, which and we promise not to slag each other off, as they say in certain places in the UK. We're going to be polite about each other in future with all of these shows as well.
Absolutely.
But I always think it's very important, Sarah, to from my point of view, as a through Ladies Go Live and through Conference on Camera, as a coach, people doing this, my number one tip is always, please promote the person who has been kind enough to give you their time, and any time in future you are speaking about them, make sure you do share their links, because then you're going to get people coming back again, aren't you, Sarah?
Yeah, and you should give credit for things that you've understood, for ideas that you've picked up, for somebody who's trained you and given you confidence that you didn't have before. Give them credit, because that sort of collaborative approach makes the world go round. It makes business easier. It makes business more fun. It makes it much easier to do this kind of thing for others. Because when somebody promotes you, then you want to promote them, and the whole thing creates a virtuous circle.
The virtuous circle. And on that note, because it's also as a fellow past president of a PSA region, Sarah, which region was yours again?
Northwest. So we're based in Manchester. We currently meet in Lymm.
Currently meet in Lymm. So if you're in the Northwest, then check with Sarah on Facebook where they meet. Because you normally, when do you normally have your meetings in the Northwest of England, Sarah?
It's either Tuesday or Wednesday evening. So we don't tend to meet at weekends, but Tuesday or Wednesday evenings were the most popular. So we're meeting, in fact, on Wednesday this week in Lymm in Cheshire.
And if you're watching this, that's mid-April. I think it's the third or fourth Wednesday that normally you get to meet up at PSA Northwest in Manchester in the UK. And by the way, they're a lovely, really, really friendly group. So if you are traveling from Asia over to the UK, go and check out the psa.co.uk regions, and you'll find out when the Northwest meet, and you'll find out when PSA Ireland meet as well. We're friendly. We like you to come and visit us.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah, exactly. It's always lovely. And actually, the key point is that I wanted to make is it is part of the Professional Speaking Association and the Global Speakers Federation and the National Speakers Association, all the associations around the world. It is part of our rules and ethos that we give credit where credit is due. And a great line I was given by mates in when it was National Speakers Association Australia, when Rob Salisbury, who helped set up the Asian speakers in Singapore, was talking about, as my good friend Sarah Fox always says, contracts can be simple. But that's a great line. As my good friend so-and-so always says. It's a nice way of giving credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, any last little golden gems for the speakers of Singapore? Let me just put you on screen, and then you can do a big wave to the speakers of Asia.
I will do. Now, this came from something I read just this morning. I'm reading David Attenborough's books about starting as a naturalist on television. He was talking about the fact that he was first involved at the advent of television, and television at the time was all live. It wasn't pre-recorded. They didn't have the ability to record until the mid-1950s. So in 1936, when he first got involved, it was live, and people watched because they liked the fluffing up, because they liked the naturalness of it, because they liked the immediacy of knowing that somebody somewhere was on the other end of a camera doing it live, not pre-recorded, not slick, not edited, not any of those things. And live stream gives us that ability to go back 100 years almost to the advent of TV and connect with an audience in a way that slick corporate videos can't do. So get out there, be live, show your expertise to people who want to work with you. Because if you're in a niche like construction contracts, you won't be surprised to know that everyone expects me to be rather received pronunciation boring, and maybe a little bit more upper class or whatever than I actually am. So it's a fabulous opportunity to show your character, your expertise, and to connect with an audience, because there's billions of people out there who can connect with you at the click of a button.